Welcome back to another episode of Ask the Attorney. I'm your host, Alex Alexander with Client Focus Media. Today, I'm super excited to bring Alexander Waters from Long, Ragsdale, and Waters PC. We create solutions. You can find them online at lrwlaw.com, standing for Long, Ragsdale, and Waters. Welcome, Alexander. How are you today?
Hey, I'm great. I'm happy to be here. How are you?
Awesome. Thank you very much, and thank you for being here, sir. So, real quick, we spoke a little bit before we came on, and first and foremost, Mr. Alexander, sir, tell me really quick. I know that you have there's some generational things going on, and from what the place you work at there, your business. Grandfather, father than you, is that correct?
Yeah, so everybody, one of these days the Waters and Long Ragsdale Waters will hopefully people think it's me, but really my dad was one of the co-founders of the firm, and it's been really neat because we have my granddad who was an attorney in Sevierville, Tennessee. He joined the firm as an off-counsel role later in his life, and then I was brought on here in 2013 as an associate, and we got a good synergy here. There's a lot of I'm really grateful there's no nepotism clause in their operating agreement or the shareholder agreement. Otherwise, I wouldn't be here. But it's really neat working with my dad. He's been a great mentor, and now we kind of share a lot of the same clients and are able to bounce ideas off each other. And it's a really cool marketplace of ideas and experience. And I love working here, and it's a great crew. So we got a good thing going.
Excellent. Good crews are important, right? You got to be able to bounce ideas off of people. You got to be able to have people you can rely on, depend on. And none of that jealousy and the bickering, which is nice. So I know that you're based out of Knoxville, and that's Knoxville for those people. It's Knoxville for those who don't know, but it's Knoxville. So you're based in, that's right, you're based out of Knoxville. So that's a very growing market, and it's been growing now for a good 10 years, but it's been very steady. And of course, in the last couple of years, don't know why, but there's a lot of people that are moving to certain states. Yours is one of them. So tell us a little bit about what you specifically do. And I just want to tie this in right now. I know what you do. And I know that there's a TV show out there right now there's some branding words that people understand. So maybe they don't understand. Tell us what you do and how that ties in.
So you're right. I mean, Knoxville's been growing. We've got a lot of people from the out west and up north that are coming down here. I think it's because just like where you are, there's no state income tax, but also the cost of living here is less. I mean, I have a friend in California. We're talking about home prices, and I think they're all jealous that what I got my house for and square footage and all that. But really, it's just the cost of living is low. The people here are nice. You're close. You're 8 hours away from the beach. You're 8 hours away from New York, from a lot of these big centers if you want to get away. And we're slowly becoming a hub for tourism is big here with the Great Smoky Mountains National Park. And people just like living here. We have all 4 seasons. People wave at you with their whole hand instead of their middle finger. So people really like that here in East Tennessee. And our firm is here to help entrepreneurs, whether they're from California or New York or just in our own backyard, help them problem solve as they're either starting a business, continuing a business, selling a business. But most of my practice really revolves around real estate and real estate transactions. I help a lot of local developers with multifamily, whether they're developing apartments or selling those, or a big part of shopping centers. We're helping mostly grocery chain anchored shopping centers. And that's been really neat. But we were talking before the call that I'm a Yellowstone fan. I like Yellowstone. I think most people do. And this recent season, they're talking a lot about conservation easements, and that's one thing that's been a big part of my personal practice is representing a land trust in the donation and acceptance of conservation easements. So that's really neat. I think that's one thing I've tried to explain on the first day before, and there wasn't a second one because it's not exactly the most let's say retail type of law, but it is interesting. And at the end of the day, you're conserving land in perpetuity, and you're, which is great for us, the land trust, and it's great for the planet. And then usually the donor who will try to get a tax deduction out of that, although that's not something I handle. So it's a weird group of you have the environmentalist and capitalist both really like this type of law, and it works out for the benefit of the general public. So it's neat.
I can understand the first date not being a segment at that point. They really have to be into it. I understand it's hard to be into that. But now, because of, I don't know if you're single or doesn't matter, but now because of this Yellowstone thing, it's an easier conversation to have. So that you could probably bring forward a little bit easier. Say, hey, did you hear that? I do that. That's what I do. That's pretty cool.
I can be like, well, if you read the book, it's not like that. It's if you read the law, this is not exactly how this works. But it's more transactional. But it is neat. You don't see a lot of times, especially in the transactional world, you think of suits, you think of sometimes law and order, but a lot of times what I do on a daily basis is contracts, negotiating, helping people get from an idea to a reality. And a lot of times you can't get that in a 5-minute or 15-minute segment on a TV show or anything like that. But it is nice to see that representation for my type of law on the national stage.
That's awesome. Dude, I have to say thank you very much. Thanks for being on the show today. Time's kind of running up here. And I want to thank everyone out there for tuning into this episode of Ask the Attorney. If you'd like to learn more about Alexander Waters, simply go to lrwlaw.com. That stands for Alexander Waters. I'm sorry, it stands for Long Ragsdale and Waters, PC. Or you can find it right here at iwannabuzz.com. Do something good for yourself. Do something good for others.